Hello and welcome to Kid Convos here at Mote Marine Laboratory. My name is Ross, and today's conversation for this week is looking at how deep is the ocean actually? Well, that is a really awesome question. Now, the neat thing about the ocean is that, believe it or not, there's a lot of geology, there's a lot of geography that takes place at the very bottom of the ocean. All of the things that you can see on land also have a counterpart in the very bottom of the ocean. For example, did you know that there's undersea mountains? Those are called seamounts. Did you know that there's also undersea volcanoes? And that's where islands come from. So as that lava churns out, as it boils out of the very bottom of the ocean, it gradually rises and hardens and cools, and that's exactly where our islands come from. Additionally, there's even undersea geysers. So there's all these big vents. They're called hydrothermal vents. And it's essentially really hot water, a really hot jacuzzi, right? Big hot tub that is boiling out of the very bottom of the ocean. Now, in addition to just some of that really cool geography and geology that's going on at the bottom of the ocean, let's talk about the deepest point at the bottom of the ocean. So the very deepest spot actually on the entire planet is the Mariana Trench. Now, the Mariana Trench is located in the Pacific Ocean, and just to let you know how deep it actually is, it is 7 miles deep. Now, what does that mean? What does that look like? Well, that's actually 1 mile deeper than Mount Everest is tall. So the tallest point on land is still shorter than the deepest point in the ocean. It's about a mile deeper than Mount Everest. Now, how long is it? Well, it's a really long hole in the ground. It's essentially an underwater canyon. Now, the neat thing about the Mariana Trench is that it's about 1,500 miles long. Now, what does that look like? Well, it's about 5 times longer than the Grand Canyon, which is wild to think about. Now, considering that the ocean is really deep, does anything really live down there? Well, yes, actually. So, for example, some types of sharks actually live at the very bottom of the ocean. So, the frilled shark is a shark that you will never encounter. It lives in the total darkness of the very bottom of the ocean. Now, a lot of other animals that live at the bottom of the ocean have a lot of other very special adaptations. For example, Japanese spider crabs, these absolute massive crabs that get about as tall as you are and about as wide as you are tall. They have absolutely gigantic legs. Just look at them compared to this diver. Now, they are very specially adapted to living at the bottom of the ocean because they have those really skinny pinchers that essentially allow them to eat whatever floats down from higher up in the water column. And finally, another really cool animal that lives at the very bottom of the ocean are corals, believe it or not. So a lot of people think that coral reefs are these beautiful tropical ecosystems, right? These really beautiful shallow water tropical island ecosystems. However, there are corals that live at the very bottom of the ocean as well. Now, those corals, believe it or not, they're not very brightly colored. They're actually white because it's the algae, it's the plants that live in our tropical corals that give them the color that they are. But plants need sunlight, so they have to stay in the shallows. However, those corals that live at the bottom of the ocean, it's too dark, it's too far down to get any sunlight. So they're white and they have really long tentacles that allow them to grab food out of the water. So believe it or not, there are lots of things going on at the very bottom of the ocean. In fact, we're still discovering new animals that live down there now. So for all of you aspiring ocean scientists out there, maybe you'll discover a new animal living at the bottom of the ocean. So thanks so much for that kid conversation, and join us next week here at Mote Marine Laboratory for some more Kid Combos.